Hello, Kingston. Welcome back to the Napoleonic battlefield. Today we have a 4v4, and this one is played by yours truly, myself. I am actually on this field. This is from one of my streams. If you do not know, I stream every weekend for the most part. Play some NTW3 with some friends, and I stream it so you guys can watch in the flesh. No, not really in the flesh, but you can watch me make my mistakes and that sort of thing. So, today we are on a brand new map made with 9.0. This is France 6A, I do believe. We're playing as the French. As you can see, we have a couple players. I am going to be Eugene. You have Ney, Odino, and then the Imperial Guard. They're going up against four of the Russians, which honestly you can't really tell who they are. But you can see already, me and Ney deployed over here. Odino, who's played by Matt Bob, and this is Why Hello, and this is Anzac Warspite. The other teams, I know there's Data L, I know there's others that I'm totally blanking on right now, but we'll look at them in the rest of the battlefield here. But Imperial Guard deployed right here, a Russian army deployed right here, and you can see already that the Russians have some dragoons, you have some skirmishers, and they are staring down the Imperial Guard, who's actually making a rapid retreat towards Odino, who is forming up with a massive amount of infantry. A lot of lancers here from Russia. Got some Kazakis that are going to yeet themselves into these dragoons, these Swiss dragoons. Get themselves out of there. It looks like some more Kazakis going to charge over as well, but I think France is going to get away. Yeah, both sides going to get away here. So immediately off the bat, the Russians deploy along this river. And all of them started going this way. We saw one sitting here. We saw three armies shifting this direction. So we got very concerned. Our job was to take this high ground. And then depending on what would happen, we could push. Now, as you can see, one Russian army's here. So we would then... Next decision was, sweep down this hill and take the Russian flank. Now, we were a little bit slower. Still, obviously, getting our armies up. Obviously a little more concerned about the fact that the Russians seem to be trying to focus down two of our allies 3v2. So at some point, we may have to rethink our strategies here, as Russia's going to get very aggressive here. Of course, the Imperial Guard having really nice dragoons and their lancers, has some voltigeurs in the center. Russia does have, I believe, some light infantry here. Yeah, they're marching up some light infantry to support their line, their cavalry, their dragoons. And for the most part, I believe these guys can form squares, so, that's not something you want to face, especially as the Imperial Guard. That's some deadly shooting right there. But we do have some just skirmishes back and forth. Looks like we may have Russia getting actually pushed back now by the Chevaliers and Dragoons, but it looks like we actually have some heavies, no, Dragoons, pushing up for Russia. So Russia definitely becoming very, very present threat in the center here by this hill. And possibly going to take this nice, gentle slope, maybe take the LOC. They are pushing down with a lot of troops here. They got a lot of dragoons. I hear artillery as well. Like I said, light infantry, they are just getting very aggressive here. And the Imperial Guard is just trying to fall back here. They have their voltigeurs, cavalry. Hopefully they don't lose their lights. Over on the other side, still France pushing. I'm not going to be able to say I'm pushing. I'm just going to say France. So, yes, it may sound weird because it's me, but I can't switch back and forth, guys. I'm sorry. So, Russia did get a little aggressive here, it looks like. Yeah, they have this Guzaris pushing up, maybe trying to see if they can't hit some troops here. Most of these are skirms. But we are going to have an engagement here. Gonna charge and hit some with the Chasseur Cheval, hit some Guzaris. Now that could easily be a win here. Oh no, that was Ney that sent in those Chasseur Cheval. But yeah, definitely sweeping the rug with some of these cav that got a little too close and getting kind of burnt. Oh, I missed it. Some cav went in. Those dragoons went in against the dragoons and lancers, as well as the voltigeurs. But they held up, and Russia now doesn't have a lot of cav. But you see their line of infantry are advancing here. And the skirmishers getting some shots. Artillery setting up here. So it looks like Russia's very confident in pushing this side. The majority of the French are now marching down this road. We still have, what is this, dragoons? Yeah, lots of dragoons still in the center. We have set up artillery on this side. Yeah, so we have some 6-pounder horse artillery. Set up our lines, but things are going to have to be... Oh, what do we got here? Oh, yeah, France did try to go in to kill the general, but not happening. He's very much alive, unscathed. Maybe some friendly fire, though. Who knows? But Russia is starting to march down this road here, so this French army definitely should start mobilizing to flank, because nothing's over here yet. You can see 1 army's here, and then 3 other armies here for Russia. So one army, this is the far flank. We could easily start flanking here with our French forces and just smack this whole line using our superior numbers and just get close in and melee. So here France is falling, well, not falling back, but Russia is advancing with quite a lot of infantry here. Looking at the French, like I said, this Odino, Mappa brought a lot of troops with this Odino. A lot of troops. I think he brought like over 3,000 troops. Just so many. They probably have to fix Odino at some point because it's just so bad. Alright, we have taken a LOC right here, determined to hold in this vicinity. We do have the Russians coming along the flank here. We are forming up, but honestly, Russia is advancing along several fronts here. They're going to swing this direction, and there's a gap that we should be fixing that. Well, looking back at it after I'm playing, like, man, why wasn't I, like, shifting over and have my allies shift over even more? You know, that's what I should be doing, is not worrying about on the front. We need to be shifting this direction and meet up with Odino. And hold this line, maybe encircle the Russians if they push in, force them to push in here and just encircle them, and use Ney to kind of blunt any attack that Russia may make on my flank, as I'm supporting Odino. Odino's still marching up here. A lot of line infantry here. We got some Swiss mixed in with some, ooh, just beautiful. Just so beautiful. Got some light infantry as well. There's just so much here. Only 2 cav, but man, is this guy wearing lime green? Oh, do we have a cav charge? Oh, these Chevaliers are getting charged. But falling back as Russia is advancing here. What do they got? So we got some... Ooh, they got a lot of light infantry, it looks like. But they are advancing here as artillery is going to advance as well. So this is definitely the clear and present threat. The Imperial Guard are going to have to defend their flank as well as Russia is pushing. They are definitely getting an excellent flank. But France could easily use this LOC to hold back on that flank. But we can see we are starting to shift our troops over here. We do have the French. Yeah, I mean, I think you could definitely be shifting over everything, get more aggressive and shift over. There's a huge line here. The only thing I would see with this is you don't need to have such a big line. You can cut this line in half and still have some reserves to shift over. Having a smaller confined space.
Sir, sir,
my general's getting sniped or shot at. I didn't kill him, thankfully. But, you know, having a smaller area to kind of fight. But you can see already now I'm going to start pushing up in support as France is getting engaged here, pushing up. Of course, thankfully he has lines upon lines of troops here to kind of defend. Like, look at these reserves. Look how many reserves. There's reserves upon reserves upon reserves. The Imperial Guard in reserve as well. I mean, yeah, we just have reserves. We do have France holding this house, is going to stop Russia from really advancing. But the fight really happening here as, oh man, Russia is just definitely looking like they're ready for a fight on that flank. Thankfully, I am pushing up, so Russia can't really threaten that flank for too much longer. In fact, I'm shifting over all of my troops. Russia does have some artillery right here, which is starting to shell us, but it's far enough away, and with 9.0, artillery, you don't have to fear it as much. It really isn't something you should fear. I mean, it doesn't get that many kills unless it's on a hill. I mean, you can see it's killed barely any troops, so... But I am going to definitely start pushing up here, threatening the flank, and of course, I see this, and I'm telling Ney, hey, you need to push up like this whole army and swing around and hit this flank, because that's going to threaten my whole right flank, as I am pushing up to kind of defend Odino. The Imperial Guard in reserve, marching up to mobilize. What a beautiful map, and what a beautiful day for a fight, you know? Ooh, look at those beautiful... Oh, you know what? Hold on. I apologize. With so many troops in the battle, it's going to be inevitable that, you know, you're not going to hear all the gunfire, but wow. Look at this. Russia getting very close here. France actually falling back a little bit. Now the line is definitely being drawn very rapidly here. Thankfully, there's not as many Russians here, and with reinforcements pushing up here by France, that will threaten the flank of this Russian force, and that is about as much as Russia can bring up. So we have a lot of troops here. Look at all the troops I have, that they have, that Ney has. I mean, there's tons more over here that could be. They could definitely be pushing in this direction. I think I was telling him to go the road and swing around and use the road to get behind him. But Russia is ignoring this LOC and just pushing up. Artillery really punishing the Russians as they advance. And look at all the reserves still, guys. A lot of reserves, even more right here. Russia is pushing up here and a little thinly stretched right in this area, which is what I'm going to start really utilizing. Pushing up a lot of my reserves, as you can see, to kind of fill in this area and push on this little area right here. There's 2 troops. All of themselves. Now with France right here, he just needs to march forward and just keep marching. Ignore the artillery sitting here. Yes, he'll take some losses, but if you can threaten this whole flank, look at all of our troops marching. And you see he's actually falling back now. He's probably seen these guys. They're not hidden anymore. But we are going to definitely... I have reserves. I have my grenadiers. This is good. This is really good for us. In fact, we have the Imperial Guard marching up in the center. These guys are going to be able to put down some heavy fire. Really good accuracy. Oh, look at how beautiful this is, though, guys. Look at this. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is just so beautiful. There's so many lines of troops everywhere. Alright, enough. So I can go back in screenshot mode and honestly take a really good shot in this battle. Okay, so Russia, we did push them back. We scared them. Now we want to keep advancing. Definitely we want to keep advancing. Not let them stop or reform their lines. Right here on this right flank, Russia is definitely pushing in. We do have troops by the LOC. Udino troops, some massive 235 men units. Watching the flank, artillery is really shelling this whole line as they're pushing up. Russia needs to be very, very careful. They have a lot of reserves here, but they can easily lose it all so fast if they get a chain route. You can see France is starting to wear a little bit in the center, so Imperial Guard is now going to march up and take their place here. That artillery is being deadly, like super deadly. We do have some cavalry, looks like, over here, possibly. Oh yeah, I was trying to go for the artillery. I knew better, though, to charge in for those guns because that grenadier or dragoons were right there. But yeah, we have the Imperial Guard reserves marching up here. We have infantry doing a bayonet charge, getting met by some 123 infantry of the line of France. And this may start turning into a slugfest, which honestly Russia should not take a melee at this point. They want to sit here and shoot down the French. That is going to be their best hope at this point. We will get outshot eventually, although there's reserves that haven't even been engaged yet, I think. But here we go, the first of the bayonet charges, and yes, there was a lot of bayonet charges, a lot of melee. Oh, what a beautiful shot right at the very end. Russia definitely stacking cavalry, sending in cuirassiers as well. But France has reserves, and then more reserves on top of those reserves. This is where I think things are looking so good. I mean, Russia's taken some heavy losses here. Really trying to push in. They shouldn't be so aggressive. Cavalry now going to countercharge. We have the Dragoons and the Imperial Guard pushing in. The reserves, the Swiss, now going to hold the line here. Over here, it's just a shooting match still. We're just shooting. I am trying to isolate units that are kind of more alone. Try to go for angles, look for corners to shoot on the flank. Right now, this is an all-out slugfest. Not really slugfest as much as it is just an all-out brawl. You have line infantry now, some assault columns pushing up here. Russia is getting very aggressive along the whole board here. Imperial Guard falling back as this is slowly dragging along the line here. We may have Russia advancing on this side as well. They have some reserves, so if they keep shooting, they should do well. Yeah, we have more Russians now charging in.
Our men are running, sir.
What's happening over here? All right. So it's still just this constant struggle here. Not much happening, I promise. But melee is spreading along the line here. The Imperial Guard now being charged. They should do pretty well against this melee. They have some voltigeurs holding. No real reserves over here except for in the way back. But now I'm going to send my cavalry up, and I have some carabineers who may try to go in for a gallant bayonet charge here. France actually counter-charging here, starting to break this line, and over here Russia is kind of now put themselves in a predicament where Russia, they need to fall back. They need to isolate themselves a little bit. Here I go, guys. My first bayonet charge with these carabineers. Brave souls gonna go in there to get a counter charge by some more Russians, but it shouldn't matter too much. I'm gonna start creeping up infantry as well, try to break this Russian attack. At the same time, Russia keeps charging in cavalry here.
Sir.
Oh yeah. Russia sent in some cav, took up my artillery. It was very sad, but I honestly didn't care. There was too much happening right here, where now cavalry is charging in here. We have my dragoons going in to kind of back up my carabineers. The Imperial Guard going to push up here. Russia is also countercharging. We have some dragoons in that fight. This is just all out, and Russia is looking a little battered here. They've lost a lot. Russia needs to maybe withdraw a little bit, get out of melee range of the French. In the center, though, we are pushing very hard. Can you see I'm forming a square as Russia did a countercharge with some Kazakis. I do believe my French troops held. Where are they? These, the Carabineers? Maybe not. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they broke. Yeah, they did. That's unfortunate. There's 24 of them. Brave souls. Okay, and now, Ney, who's way over here, is sending in some Lancers. It was great communication, which well loved playing a VC. So he's going to charge in. I'm going to push my infantry up at the same time, and he's going to smack into a bunch with his Chevalier Lancers. So you can see the morale it's causing, and at the same time, we're going to start pushing. We have definitely made headway right in the center here. Russia's falling back on this right flank. But we have started making a punch through on this center, and we're going to start pushing up as France is... not France, but Russia is going to try reforming, shifting over some cavalry. Not a lot happening over here still, just Russia and France staring each other down. A little bit of skirmishing here. We're just kind of staring them down. I didn't want to push this point because why engage them when we have a flank that is definitely working? And as soon as they ship those troops, then we can push or not. But I'm definitely going to start getting a little more aggressive here with the Imperial Guard. Now, Russia does have a line they are holding, but now the Fusiliers, Grenadiers, as well as my combat gen are going to try assisting it to kind of cut apart this flank. We do have some cavalry charging it as well. Oh, can we form square in time? No. Or maybe. We do have more cav shifting up. Over here, Odino is now going to be pushing, sending in some cav against the Russians. Russia trying to hold. They look like they may have some... just too many troops in the battlefield, which is causing some friendly fire, which could be, it could have been a laggy game. I can't actually remember. I don't think it was for me, but it could be for someone else. They do have, of course, some guard units for Russia on this side, but their whole center is caving. I sent in my dragoons once more, trying to harass the Russians, try to get them to not be able to fall back. I should have been more aggressive on this side, honestly, looking back at it. I don't think I was being aggressive enough. I could have been pushing this entire time. There is an engagement now happening on this right flank, but we are just depending on this center push, which seems to be doing so well. Udno starting to advance with what's left of his troops. He just, for a while, just sat back. Matt Bob was sitting back, just being defensive and sending up the first wave, or second maybe, wave of troops to kind of put pressure on the Russian force here. They can still try to break us, but their center is almost totally crumbled. Here I am finally advancing. I'm trying to take on the flank of Russia, as France is now also going to start advancing up. Russia definitely suffered some heavy losses compared to us. Our melee capabilities were much better than theirs. Now it's just a shooting match once more, getting some cap, but just continually closing in with the enemy. And yeah, Russia's going to bayonet charge the French line infantry, who, well, did not get a chance really to fire, but that's a musket bug for you. That's okay though. They excel at melee. So we're continually pushing on the flank, continually pushing, starting to push up here. Ney is engaging on this side. Takes some loss with the artillery, but not too bad, honestly. Artillery did take a little bit of a nerf in some ways, so you won't lose a ton. You can stand in front of them and lose maybe 50 men, which for some units that could be disastrous. But for the French, that won't be that bad. This artillery is bravely sticking to their post here. These 12-pounders, where are they firing? Because they are in grave danger of losing their positions, as more and more Russians are falling back here. Russia, they should just forget this gun placement and fall back to this hill. But at the same time, though, I mean, their center has crumbled. Now they have been almost split in two. My Carabineers going in, those brave souls. And we're going to start really focusing down. Here we go. Starting to really focus them down now. Russia should have been a little more aggressive maybe on this side. It was just Ney, but Ney had enough troops, I think, that it probably didn't matter too much at that point. But yeah, that's basically at this point we've won. There was a vicious fight in the beginning. Russia just wasn't able to really utilize shooting to their ability, because they definitely would have outshot us. We were able to close in for those bayonet and cab charges, and that's what kind of hurt them, I think, in the long run. So it's just kind of a cleanup here. Now Russia is going to be getting very aggressive here now against Ney, as they have no other option using the artillery. You see, they've killed a couple units here, but it's not bad. I have a few over here kind of supporting some Italians.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
Musket bug's actually not that bad, but we do have Russians pushing up here on Ney. And that will be a bit of a problem, but I'm closing in on the flank with the Imperial Guard, I think. So it shouldn't be too much longer. Now, France is still taking some losses, but still going in full melee. They are fighting over here. These are such big units. I mean, these guys are 190 instead of 235, but they're doing very well here. You also have some more of the infantry on this flank, just slowly but surely chipping away at the Russians. And Russia is now in a hole, or in a circle over here. I should have been melee charging much sooner.
Our men are running, sir.
Much sooner. Russia did push out here and kind of almost totally broke the French army here with those bayonet charges, along with the dragoons. Even my unit, I think, broke, but it's not going to matter. I mean, yeah, they can push up here, but I am curving on the flank. It's not going to matter. They may try to break Ney, but we have such a great army. I mean, maybe they could, you know. They could turn around and try to beat the flank, but there's still some Ney troops right here. And artillery right there, so. Plus, this Russian army is totally gone at this point, so they're still in Odino with half the army left. And we are going to start closing in rapidly. Very fun map, though, I will say. Very pretty map.
Our men are running, sir.
Yeah, I'm just going in for bayonet charges now. End this. Using the road to rapidly get up. And I do believe, yep, I do it over here as well. Just go in. Friendly fire, my goodness. How can I friendly fire my Carabineers? And that's about the battle, guys. We have some cavalry just cleaning up. one or two Russian units left. But yeah, that was about it. So it was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. It was one of those. It was really intense for 5 to 10 minutes. Then it was over. No matter how many times you play this game, that will always be that one part where everything is on the line and you're pushing up and they're attacking. Of course, like I said, I think Russia's mistake was getting too close to France, and then the melee just started. And we had the Imperial Guard. We had some amazing cav. And we just able to utilize that because our shooting wasn't that greatest. And using, like I said, I brought like at least 4 Grens. And they really worked really well for this battle. And I know that the Odino didn't really bring me Grens. They just brought a lot of line infantry. Of course, the Imperial Guard has really good melee stats. And that big center push what we made was with the Imperial Guard backing up and my Carabineers pushing up as well. And the Cav. So that was kind of the downfall, I would say, of that force. So yeah, like I said, I think it's the last unit here. I think we could have got more decisive if France had shifted over, or Ney had shifted over much sooner and hit them. Maybe not, who knows. But it worked out in our favor, as it was. It worked out in our favor, so I want to play this map again, definitely. It was a very fun map. Like I said, it's a new map. I think it's France 6, or France 6A. So check it out, play it for yourself, and you guys can tell me what you think of this map.
Must rest a while.
Anyway, this replay was sent in by me, playing as Eugene, of course. You're welcome. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely, you can see 38-68. That's how many men map brought as Odino. So more than any other army on the field. Almost as much as 2 Russian armies put together. No. Yeah, almost. If you put these 2 together, you had way more than them, you know. So definitely a very, very good build. Yeah, and of course, it was Lotus, Data L, Lisheng, and Implex, which was a fun game. They're really, really good sports and good plays. Good plays. So you can see my Carabineers got some of the best kills there, charging in. But all right, guys, that's about it for me today. I hope you enjoyed. You did, and you're not subscribed and you'd like to support my channel, help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'd greatly appreciate it. Comment. I would love to hear from you if you play this mod, if you want to play this mod, what you like about 9.0 so far, for those of you who've played 8.9. Yeah, give it a like. Helps get it more popular, more people will watch, and hopefully get more people to play this mod. So that is about it for me today, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I will catch you all in another video.